Alright, we're back with another league match from Lantern Control. Again, showing off Profane Tutor, kind of trying it, seeing how we feel with it. Been liking it so far, it's been pretty good, and we open two of them here, so I think definitely keepable. And we're going to run out a Lantern and a Bauble. Now we see a Sheoldred's Edict on top. You may notice in my videos I kind of talk about what we're playing against early. Obviously, because it's replays, I know what we're going to be playing, but I like to kind of go over my thought process for what kind of generally how I go about predicting what they're playing. Sheoldred's Edict is generally played in the blue-black Dimir, kind of the ring control decks. So that's going to kind of be my first prediction. Obviously, it's a flexible enough card that it can be seen in a lot. And Lorien Revealed, again, would be in that Dimir control, but Steam Vents wouldn't. So at this point, we're definitely looking at Grixis colors, Preordain. We're looking at some kind of Grixis control shell here. One thing that I really don't like about Moto is actually this Preordain Lantern interaction. Maybe if you know a bit better how it works, can let me know. But like they draw one top, one bottom, and then it doesn't reveal. You kind of have to be paying pretty close attention to actually find out what they drew, which is pretty annoying. And we just suspend a Profane Tutor here. Seems to be the standard kind of turn 2 play in this build, from what I'm learning. And we do see a Flame of Anor on top, a new card that's seeing an uptick in play. You know, a lot of people are playing Flame, and it is very strong against us. We'll actually notice a couple times in this matchup here, they cycle Lorien Revealed at interesting times, I guess I'll say, where yeah, I think we probably should have suspended another tutor here. Was kind of playing around them drawing Flame here, but then they elect to cycle with Lorien Revealed. Definitely a weird decision. Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know why we didn't play the Bauble. I think I just forgot to do that. We just see more removal spells, kind of standard, looking like some sort of Grixis control, likely Murktide as a finisher with a bunch of removal spells. Flame of Anor could mean, as we'll see later, means a Snapcaster Mage, so that's something to look out for. And we get to cast our Profane Tutor. Obviously, we're going to pay for it here, and I think we grab a Thoughtseize, as we really want to have interaction for their hand hate. And we grab a Shredder to complete the lock. And then I like to just fire off the Thoughtseize here. In hindsight, and kind of in talking with some people, I think you always want to fire the Profane Tutor early. I think it's definitely the play, and something that I'll be adjusting in future leagues. So it definitely hurts us a bit here, as we're forced to take a Flame of Anor, but then, which was in their hand, but then looking down Murktide here. So we're gonna play with double Shredder. We can try to dig, but we don't end up getting all the way, as they cast a Murktide here, and unfortunately we're just not able to find bridge in time. So definitely think we mill ourselves, do all that kind of stuff, but we never find bridge. I think, yeah, hindsight, definitely suspending the Profane Tutor early, something that we'll work toward in future leagues. But here, just against Grixis control, Snapcaster and Flame are going to be kind of the two, and Tidebinder are probably going to be the main threats as we move forward games 2 and 3. For sideboarding against them, I'm treating it similar to Murktide. I think the deck will play similar in kind of what we care about. So just bringing in a Welding Jar, kind of very minimal sideboard sideboard changes. A lot of their Fatal Push, Sheoldred's Edict, cards like that aren't very impactful in this matchup. Our hand here has Hand Disruption, Shredder, Bridge. I think it's pretty solid. Obviously missing a Lantern, but have ways of finding it. And given this matchup, I like not to run the Thoughtseize out first. If we Thoughtseize on 1, they're gonna be able to draw at least 2 cards before we cast Bridge, and then likely up to 3 or 4, which I would rather play Thoughtseize like on turn 2 and then play Bridge on turn 3, just to lower their unknown cards before Bridge. And importantly, as they're playing Murktide, we're not gonna mill them, as we don't wanna fuel that out too quickly. And we end up drawing a Profane Tutor, which definitely changes things, as we just elect to suspend it right away. Kind of learning from some of the earlier videos. And then here we're gonna Thoughtseize. We take the counterspell, as it's the first kind of direct answer to Bridge. I could see an argument for Tidebinder if you had Urza's Saga, but they have Alpine Moon in hand. Sorry, for Murktide, if they had Urza's Saga without Moon. Obviously, there's a lot of hate here. This Tidebinder is likely going to shut down one Shredder. Murktide will get stopped by Bridge, and Alpine Moon Saga is being dead is obviously not great, and we're going to have to find a needle to Odawara. So this hand, we can definitely fight through it. The counterspell is the biggest immediate concern, but obviously lots of future threats to worry about. It is nice that we have Bridge in hand. We'll be able to use the Profane Tutor for more like Lantern, which we cast here and do indeed grab a Lantern. Sorry, there's a couple extra clicks there. We run out the Lantern. Obviously not with the Tidebinder in hand. I don't think we're not gonna really rush to get the Shredder down too early, as we do want to let them have time if they feel like running it out, or kind of a smaller trigger that they care about. So they draw Lorien Revealed, and basically immediately go get a land. Like, to be honest, I don't know why they're so anxious for another land here. I think they're kind of trying to power out a Murktide, but I think just the draw 3 power of Lorien is very strong, and so can be very useful later. We're gonna try to mill the Tidebinder. We know it's gonna get countered by what they have in hand, but I don't think that's a big concern to us here. We knew it was gonna happen. We will have to use this Shredder that we draw to mill, and seeing another Lantern on top is pretty good here. Because they have Odawara, we kind of want 2 of all of our pieces, as if we have 2 of everything, Odawara is not a big deal. Whereas if we only have 1, then it can become a lot more important, and they could Odawara end step and then draw like a couple cards on their turn, which would bring us the problems. And so they just start playing a Murktide here, as they do what the deck does. In a lot of ways, kind of I never saw a Dragon Rage Channeler or Murktide kind of the entire game, so it's almost like big Murktide, or like just Grixis control is what I'd call it. And we're gonna ditch the Saga, as it's not useful here. We do kind of want to be above a life total where they can kill us in 1 turn because of the Odawara in hand. So I think keeping that life total high is important, but equally important is keeping 2 of all of our key pieces. And with the needle on top, we can force them to use the Odawara before they have lethal, and we have enough mana to play Odawara and Bridge if they bounce that. So we found our answer to Odawara, which we'll run out here. They played Dress Down for some reason. I don't know. And so we needle Odawara, and we'll kind of go through quickly here. There are some more decisions kind of around what they mill. They continue to play for a while. Obviously, this deck has a lot of cards that kind of draw into more, and we'll mill ourselves just to have more answers. We do let them draw a counterspell, which means this Bridge will be countered, but I think that's lower on our list of priorities. You can see them tapping, trying to cast Odawara, but we're not worried about that. Overall, Profane Tutor I think was pretty solid here. Just being able to grab that missing Lantern piece. They kind of wasted a counterspell on Bridge when we have a Shredder on top. So, but I don't think there was a ton that would have played differently. But yeah, this game too is pretty wrapped up here. Another Bridge on top, but Like we'll just let them draw counter spells and things at this point. A Pithing Needle on top, definitely a bit weird as they're not playing Urza Saga or any way of searching it, but it's a card to note and be ready to play around. And they're gonna fetch, and they have a Snapcaster for counterspell here. Obviously good that they used that Snapcaster before Flame of Anor, so glad that they ran that out. At this point, we're basically able to totally lock them down, and there's not much they can do. Yeah, they just run out of Murktide. Obviously, we're dead if Bridge goes away, but not really too concerned about that. They don't have any ways of drawing extra cards in hand, so can just freely mill them from this point. Obviously, when they lose their extra draw, their deck becomes like a lot easier to maintain milling them when it's so low, as we know nothing draws extra cards. Just makes it simpler. You can be a bit more aggressive when you're mulliganing. Yeah, and then we close it out here. Obviously, they play it out. It's their right, but you can see, time. We got over 16 minutes, and we have one game left. So I think time, again, very important skill when playing this deck. And here they concede this game and actually just concede the entire match. I don't know if they had somewhere to be for game 3. I think it definitely would have been an interesting one, but hope that we could have got there. Kind of our key lessons that we're learning about Profane Tutor is just kind of fire it off as soon as you can, get it on suspend, and I think we'll really prioritize doing that moving forward. I got one more game from this league coming up. Should be coming out tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are still liking these, as I'm kind of trying to kind of do a bit of teaching a bit more and what my lines and thought process are. So until the next one.